Hey, I'm Aubrey from Aubrey Originals. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this watermelon pom-pom wreath from start to finish. If you like these kind of videos, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more DIY tutorials. For this wreath, you will need a wire wreath form. Mine is 16 inches and has 4 wires, but I think you should still be able to make this work if your wreath form only has 3 wires. You'll also need yarn in pink or red, 2 shades of green and black. You need a pom-pom maker and sharp scissors, ribbon or a chenille stem for a wreath hanger, an optional sign, ribbon for a bow, or any other decorations you want to add. You can find more details in the description below, as well as the complete written instructions in the blog post, which I will also link to below. For this wreath, we will be making 2 different styles of pom-poms. Green striped pom-poms, like the striped rind of a watermelon, and pink polka dot pom-poms, the polka dots being the seeds of the watermelon. If you are new to making pom-poms or have never made them with a pom-pom maker like I'm using, go check out my other video tutorial on how to make yarn pom-poms. Step 1. Make polka dot pom-poms. Start the pom-pom the way you normally do by pinching the end of the pink yarn against the first half of the pom-pom maker and wrap it around while moving back and forth. Do this about 3 times and then we'll start adding in the black yarn for the polka dots. You do not need to trim the pink yarn here, just move the end if you need to so it's out of the way. Starting on the left side, lay the end of the black yarn on top of the pom-pom maker, pinch it with your fingers, and wrap it in the same spot once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. Move to the middle of the pom-pom maker and wrap it 4 times. And then move to the right side and wrap it 4 times. I like to slide the end of the yarn through the slit in the pom-pom maker just to hold it in place and then trim it. Now wrap the pink yarn around the pom-pom maker twice, which should just about cover the black that we've just added. With a new piece of black yarn, start wrapping slightly over from where we started the last time, which will help to stagger the polka dots. Wrap it 4 times. Then mirror that on the right hand side and wrap the yarn 4 times. Slide the yarn into the slit and trim it. Now you can finish wrapping the pink yarn around the pom-pom maker until it's full. Wow, I'm like really fast at that. Now you can trim the yarn and fill in the opposite side of the pom-pom maker. Because only half of the pom-pom will be seen on the finished wreath, doing the polka dots on this half is optional, so I just filled in this side completely with the pink yarn. Now cut the yarn along both sides of the pom-pom maker going up the middle. And yes, I'm using both hands on the scissors to cut the pom-pom. I think my yarn was just really dense, or maybe I need to work out. It's so hard to tell sometimes. Cut a piece of pink yarn about 12 inches long and wrap it around the pom-pom maker. Tie several knots. Then slide the yarn around to the opposite side and tie a couple more knots. And now you can remove the pom-pom maker. Well, unless your yarn is catching it. Let me just remove that. Okay. Now you can remove the pom-pom maker. Holding onto the yarn ties, shake the pom-pom out and trim it to make it more round. But do not cut the ties because we will need them later on. Obviously this is sped up, so please don't try to cut this fast at home. If you're using a 16-inch wreath form like me, you will need 16 total pink polka dot pom-poms. So just keep going, you got a ways, but I believe in you. Step 2, make striped pom-poms. Starting with the darker green yarn, wrap the pom-pom maker 3 times. Again, don't cut the yarn when you're done, just move it to the side. Grab your lighter green yarn and lightly wrap 1 time. Slide the end of the light green yarn in the slit of the pom-pom maker and cut it. Then finish wrapping the dark green yarn until the pom-pom maker is full. Trim the yarn and then fill in the opposite side of the pom-pom maker. Because I knew that only half of the striped pom-pom was actually going to be seen on the finished wreath, I just filled this side in with the dark green yarn, but you're welcome to make it striped on this side as well. Repeat all the same steps as before to finish off the pom-pom. Don't forget that you need the ties for later, so don't trim them when you're shaping your pom-pom. For a 16-inch wreath, you will need 24 total green striped pom-poms, so only 23 more to go. It's like the most time-consuming project ever. Alright, step 3, tie the pom-poms onto the wreath form. Before you start tying, you can check the placement of your pom-poms and see how many you actually need for your wreath form. My wreath form had 8 sections, and I found that 3 green and 2 pink would fit in each section. Flip your wreath form over so the back is facing up. Tie the green pom-poms around the second to outer ring and tie several tight knots so that it holds. Trim the ties short, or at least the length of the rest of the yarn pieces in the pom-pom. Tie the pink pom-poms to the second to inner ring and do the same. Continue tying until all your pom-poms have been used and the wreath is filled. A quick note here, your pom-poms will still be able to slide around a bit, though having the wreath form completely filled helps with that. It's not perfect. If this bothers you, you could add a bead of glue to the back side of each pom-pom while tying them on. Hot glue can melt if you're displaying this wreath outside, so I'd use something like E6000 glue and let it dry overnight. Step 4, make a sign. I bought a cheap wood plaque from Michael's, painted it black, and added a vinyl saying that I cut with my Cricut maker. This Hello Sweet Summer cut file is in Cricut Design Space for Access subscribers, and it worked perfectly for this wreath. For thicker signs, I usually staple a chenille stem or 2 to the back so that I can secure the sign to the wreath. But since this is so thin, I ended up gluing a chenille stem to the back instead, which you'll see later. At first I used hot glue, but after hanging on my door for a few days, the sun melted it and the sign popped right off the chenille stem, so I have now switched to using E6000 glue for signs like these. Step 5, make a bow. Cut 4 pieces of ribbon, 2 that are 16 inches long, 1 that is 12 inches long, and 1 that is 2 inches long. Fold the 12-inch piece over on itself and glue the ends together, being careful not to burn your fingers. Also, make sure that you're not gluing the ends to the other side of the loop. Do the same thing with one of the 16-inch pieces. Lay the smaller folded piece on top of the bigger one. Take your second 16-inch piece and find the middle. Now join all 3 of these pieces together with a chenille stem, twisting it in the back, but don't trim it. Now take your 2-inch strip. My piece is longer here, but you'll see me trim it in a second because it was too long. Fold the edges over and glue them to make the ribbon a little narrower, and then wrap this around the middle of the bow and hot glue it in the back. Dovetail the ends of the bow by folding the ribbon in half and cutting at a 45-degree angle. Step 6, add a door hanger. There are several different ways you can do this, it just depends what you prefer. You can use a chenille stem and just twist it around the wire wreath form to secure it, trim the ends, and then tuck them in so they don't stick out and scratch your door. I actually have a different method of doing this now, but this is just one way, and there's not really a wrong way to do it. But because the door hanger shows on this type of wreath, I decided to make a ribbon door hanger instead. This piece of ribbon was about 18 inches long, but you can make it however long or short you like. Slide your ribbon under all the wires of the wreath form, tie a double knot, making sure it's really tight, and then slide the knot so it is hidden behind your wreath. You could also glue it in place if you wanted to. Step 7, finish assembling your wreath. Add your sign to the wreath. You can see that the chenille stem was glued again here with hot glue, but remember that can melt in the sun, so I recommend using E6000 glue instead. Choose where you want to position your sign and secure it around the middle 2 rings of the wreath form. Add the bow and any other decorations you want in a similar way. Trim the chenille stems and tuck in the ends. Fluff the bow and you have yourself your very own watermelon pom-pom wreath. I really had no idea how this wreath would end up looking when I first had the idea for it, but I think I like it most of the time. And then sometimes I think it looks like a fuzzy caterpillar. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Either way, it's a fun, unique wreath for summer. Thanks so much for watching this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.